Good morning. I'm Pete Najarian. This is The Take on this Friday morning. What a wonderful start to the year that we've got here. It's been absolutely incredible. We've had some strong moves. We've had moves both up and down. And obviously, there's this dislocation once again. People are looking at those high multiple names, selling them. They're looking at financials and energy and other parts of the economy that they feel are going to be a little bit stronger given the circumstances. And they have been stronger. They've had an absolute unbelievable move when you look at some of these energy stocks. So, it's been a fun start to the year. This dislocation, as I mentioned, as a matter of fact, the volumes have been absolutely incredible. These first four trading sessions, we're averaging a little over 41 million contracts per day. As a matter of fact, on Wednesday and Thursday, we really accelerated. Wednesday, we traded close to 46 million contracts. Yesterday, we traded just below 43 million contracts. So activity is there. It came back. It was a little bit weaker to start, but now we're seeing a pretty nice acceleration of that as well. So you look at volatility index, a range yesterday of 19 to 21. We did finish underneath 20, but almost smack dab in the middle of that range yesterday. So pretty interesting to watch that. As we were saying, financials, energy, that's been the area where we've seen a lot of strength. We've seen some power coming out of crude, which is actually butting up against 80, although today we're back down towards the lower part of 79. The 10-year, as a matter of fact, has gone very rapidly from, call it 1.5 up towards that 1.75 sort of an area. So it might not sound like a rapid move, a big velocity move. It is. It's really been on a tear. That's been very helpful. That's why we're seeing a lot of these financial names that have really done extremely well so far in the early going. Healthcare, technology, that's really been the drag that we've seen on the Dow, and specifically you take over the NASDAQ and you wonder, well, the NASDAQ really is underperforming, and it is. As a matter of fact, today, still underperforming. So IBM, Apple, Microsoft, all of those, of course, are in the Dow. That was pulling things a little lower. Then you go to some of those healthcare names like United Health, maybe sprinkle in a little Walgreens and Merck. And I'll tell you, you can see a little bit of that pull that you're seeing on the Dow as well. So we've had some movers yesterday. The financials, as I mentioned, JP Morgan, Citi, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. You go through the list. Travelers all having a really, really great day. Beta energy names, once again, absolutely on fire on this move to the upside. Look at something like a Diamondback, Marathon, those kinds of names, APA, all the strong move to the upside. And those Chinese names, once again, having a pretty decent day, actually. And we talk about it. They seem to do that one step forward, two step back. All you've got to do is look at some of those ETFs, look at what their year-to-date looks like, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, because those are some very, very difficult moves that we've been watching of late. So we did have some weakness yesterday. There's no doubt about it. It was in the higher multiple type names. Take a look at Tesla. That was getting hit a little bit yesterday. Netflix, another one. Activision. Throw in, as I said, some of those other names that are connected to the healthcare world. Humana. Look at United Health. Take a look at Cigna. All of those names with a little bit of some serious pressure on them as well. All of that just dragging down the markets. Today, a lot of back and forth, and a lot of it predicated on various news. Obviously, you look at that jobs number, and it's very shocking. The market seemed like it reacted fairly easily towards that. Didn't seem like it really gave us a big hit, at least initially. Now we are seeing a little bit of follow through. NASDAQ, once again, down about 60 points. The Dow actually following along today, down about 40 points. As a matter of fact, early on, you look over at financials, they were starting off pretty nicely. Actually, even technology had a little bit of a blip, and they were moving a little bit to the upside. Then the carpet was pulled out, started to slip to the downside as well. So got a couple of unusuals for you, and then we're going to get out of here. We look at the 10-year. It's very similar to where it was. I look over at energy. It's not quite at that 80 level any longer, but a pretty significant move to get back up towards that level once again. As a matter of fact, I'll be on the halftime report today. We've got a whole deal that we're doing. They call it the Stock Summit. I've got 3 stocks that I have to select, that I will be letting everybody know what I think are some of the areas that could be very strong, at least in the first half, maybe for the full year. And we're forced into a position of, well, what sector are you going to do? So I've picked out that as well. So we'll see how that all goes. Before we go, and I'll have my unusuals on the halftime report as well, and I'm on the 5 o'clock show today. A very busy day today, but it's always a lot of fun. So first, KWEB. Now, Chinese internet ETF. Now, this is one of those names absolutely has been just trashed to the downside. Starting to find a little bit of bullishness, at least in the options world. So it started off early on, about 5,000 of the February 39.42. Well, there's different reasons for that, but those calls were being bought. Those calls were being bought for about $1.40. Now that was interesting, but right after that hit, we also had January 40 calls getting bought as well. 10,000 of those. Stock was virtually in about the same spot. Call it 36.60, somewhere in that sort of a range. But we had the buyer of the February and the buyer of the January. That was pretty interesting. On top of that, Beyond Meat. Now, this is a name that we haven't seen in a very long period of time. Talk about high multiples, all that different type of thing. But it's interesting just because, A, we have not seen a whole lot of option activity in this name for quite a while. Haven't talked about this name in quite a while. And we're seeing some bullish paper in there for next week. It's a 1 week out, January 14th expiring. With the stock itself trading just below 73, and it actually started at $67, and they were still buying these calls all the way up until the stock cut close to 73. They're buying next week's expiring, the 14th, the 75 strike calls, and they're paying all the way from $1 early, $1.10, all the way up to a little over $3 as well. So a lot of activity out there. I am seeing more and more and more activity starting to accelerate after probably the first call at 40 or 45 minutes. Then that's when we really started to kick in. Part of that might be a little bit of the selling that we're seeing, the selling pressure as well. Activity is definitely starting to kind of bubble up a little bit and starting to boil. So we'll see. We'll see if there is any help for the specifically the technology stocks. Semiconductors, a little bit of a struggle there as well. There's a few names that I saw early on under some pressure as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. Folks, have a great day of trading. Sorry I've been gone for a couple of days this week. A lot of travel, a lot of issues with internet, but hopefully today it's been back, and I will see you at noon today as well. Have a great day of trading.